Arsenal's glory days are well and truly in the past. Even 4 FA Cups in the last 8 years can't disguise that the club is in decline. It's been 17 years without a Premier League title. Next season will be the 5th in a row without Champions League football. And in fact, they won't even be in Europe at all for the first time since the mid-90s. Not that it's all doom and gloom at the Emirates. The Gunners actually had the second best record in the league over the last 8 games, with the upturn in form driven by and large by the younger players. Of course, there was optimism at the end of last season too, when Arsenal won the FA Cup and then opened the 2020-21 campaign looking like relegation candidates. So, much more than good vibes are needed for the Gunners to move back among the Champions League places and start to regain something of their former stature. Let's help them on their way. It's the Arsenal to-do list. Top of the list for Arsenal is to employ a smarter recruitment strategy. The club's signings in the last few years have left much to be desired, having spent over £500 million in 4 years from 2016, only to slide down the table. Then, last year, they gutted their scouting staff and have what could politely be termed an agent-led strategy. Whether they actually just sign whoever super agent Kia Jarabchian tells them to or not, it's hard to call giving Willian a 3-year deal last summer anything but a disaster. And fellow Jarabchian clients, David Luiz and Cedric Suarez, haven't exactly raised the bar either. So, quite simply, signing good players would be a start. Their list of needs is long, but without European football, let's stick to the priorities. First of all, a central midfielder to play alongside Thomas Partey, aka a Granit Xhaka replacement. Xhaka has been hot-headed, error-prone and not creative enough. And neither Mohamed El Neni nor the returning from loan Ainsley Maitland-Niles are the answer either. Brighton's Yves Bissouma could be, though perhaps Sander Berge from relegated Sheffield United is more gettable. Fans will no doubt be crying out for a quality striker to add to the ranks. With Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang 31 years old and with 2 years left on his deal, and with Alexandre Lacazette 30 and with just 1 year left, it's time to look to the future. In short, keep one, sell the other, and bring in someone younger. Celtic's Odsonne Edouard is one name that has been floated, but would he want to move to the Emirates? Then there's the need for a new right-back. Hector Bellerin is strongly rumoured to be leaving in the summer. He's looked a bit out of sorts anyway, and he's probably one player Arsenal could get a decent fee for to help fund these other signings. And neither Cedric Suarez nor Callum Chambers look good enough to be first choice. Norwich's Max Aarons might be available if the Gunners can fend off other suitors. On the other side of defence, another left-back would be handy. Though Kieran Tierney has performed well, when he's been out injured, the Gunners have really struggled, playing Xhaka or Bukayo Saka out of position. Though Patrick van Aanholt is 30, as a backup, he'd be a solid option and is available on a free, with his contract at Crystal Palace expiring. And finally, the Gunners need another attacking midfielder to add to the band behind the striker. It would be someone capable of running the show and playing out wide to help spell both Pepe and Emile Smith-Rowe. Ideally, they would get Real Madrid loanee Martin Ødegaard to stay permanently. If not, Matías Pereira should be available given West Brom's relegation. Obviously, all of this isn't coming cheap, so the club will have to offload fringe players and maybe more. Bellerin plus one of Aubameyang or Lacazette are probably the two most likely to fetch a sizable fee. Lucas Torreira is also set to leave permanently. Simply being English should ensure Callum Chambers and Ainsley Maitland-Niles would also bring in a few extra million. Getting Willian off the books at any price should also be a priority. And even Reiss Nelson should be allowed to develop elsewhere if Mikel Arteta isn't going to play him. Speaking of which, Arteta should play the kids. Most of Arsenal's most encouraging performances were powered by younger players. Most notably, the hugely talented winger Saka, playmaker Smith Rowe, and late in the season, Pepe started to show some of the form that prompted the club to splash out so much on him 2 years ago. At centre-back, Gabriel Magalhaes is only 23, and 20-year-old William Saliba, though yet to make his debut for the club, was hugely encouraging on loan at Nice. And Gabriel Martinelli is just 20 and may provide answers up front or out wide. Another item for Arteta is to refine his tactics. His mid-season switch from a 3-4-3 to a 4-2-3-1 worked well, with Smith Rowe providing the creative spark needed. But the manager still experimented in big games, most damagingly in the Europa League semi-final against Villarreal, where Smith Rowe was played as a false nine in the second leg. That chopping and changing betrayed Arteta's lack of confidence in his own setup. And if he doesn't believe in himself, how can his players? Arteta does need to find a plan B as well, but more faith in his plan A is even more important. And finally, one for those at the top of the club. Listen to the fans. Not the yahoos on AFTV, but the more quiet majority who show up every week and expect better from the powers that be. The Super League debacle was just the latest move to anger supporters. Discontent has gone a long way back. So while it seems pretty clear that Stan Kroenke has no plans on selling the club, actually having meaningful fan input into certain decisions would go a long way towards improving relations. That and improving results on the pitch. We've given them the roadmap. The real question is, can Arsenal follow through?
Thanks for watching. For more great content on all things football, make sure you hit the subscribe button.